So we will go to the task 1. To ensure that the Dataflow API is successfully enabled, let's just bring it to the new window. So we just list out the authentication, whether we are logged in, and then check whether the project has a variable set correctly. I think so. So right now, first thing is we will enable the API. So first we will disable the API and re-enable it. Yeah, I think it's successful. Now I can mark my task 1 as completed. Okay, I will go to the task 2 now, download the starter code. Using the gcloud storage copy command. Yes, it's done. Now go to the task 3, create a cloud storage bucket and copy the files to the bucket. So this is how you create the bucket. That is done. And now we will copy the files to the bucket. I'll pause and come back. Now we will go to task 4, create a BigQuery data set using this command. Dataset name is called Lake. That is done. Now move on to the task 5, review and run the data ingestion pipeline. So in this task, we will review the pipeline code to see how it works, and then you can set out and run the pipeline. The data ingestion pipeline ingests the data from cloud storage into the BigQuery table using a text IO source and the BigQuery IO destinations, specifically the pipeline. So we will enable the Gemini code assistant. In the Cloud Shell IDE. So in the Cloud Shell, after you enable, you can open the editor. Go to the settings. So basically you can come here and click on Gemini Code Assist, and then you can get started and this screen will open. So go to the Explorer and then click on the Open folder and choose this path here, the Dataflow Python example. Okay, and then click OK. So this will open that folder. And then go to the data ingestion. So when you open the data ingestion py file, this action enable Gemini Code Assist as indicated by the presence of it. So you will click on this Gemini Code Assist and then click on Explain This. Gemini Code Assist open a chat pane with the preview prompt of Explain This in the inline box of the Code Assist and replace the preview command with the following and click Send. So I'm going to type in this, asking telling the Gemini some things and then high levels of what I expect for the explanation and click Send. So this code populates a BigQuery table with the data files from the cloud storage. The detailed explanation for the code in the data ingestion py file appears in the Gemini Code Assist chat. Yep, you go through all this. Now we can go back to the Cloud Shell by clicking this open the terminal. So now we're going to set up the Docker container for the Dataflow jobs. In this session, you return to your Cloud Shell session to set up the required Python libraries. The Dataflow jobs in this lab require Python 3.8 to ensure you are on the proper version. Run the Dataflow process in the Python 3.8 Docker container. So I close this. Okay, come back here and then enter this command. So this command will pull the Docker container with the latest stable version of Python 3.8 and execute the command shell to run the next command within the container. The -v flag provides the source code as the volume for the container so that we can edit in the Cloud Shell editor and still access it within the running container. Once the container finish pulling and start executing in the Cloud Shell, we will run the following to install the Apache Beam in the running container. So this newer image of Python 8 is downloaded. Let's run this command here. We need to install the Apache Beam. I will pause and come back. Okay, that's done. Now we change to the data flow. So we change to the data flow and we will run the data ingestion pipeline in the cloud. This code will spin out the worker required and then shut them down when the pipeline is complete. In the console title bar later on, you can go back here and then type in. Let me close this, which I don't need now. I can go to data flow. This one. So when the data flow page is open, you will view the status of your job. You don't have it yet. Yep, I can see the job is coming now. You can click the job name here to watch the progress. Looks like it is still in this process reading from a file. I can click into this task and see what is the stages. Meanwhile, I also open a new tab in order to show the BigQuery console. You can type in here BigQuery and then click this. It will bring you to here, and this is the new dataset we created just now, and we don't see the table yet called USA name. We are waiting for it to waiting for the job to complete first. I will pause to come back. Yep, I can see the first one is succeeded and second one also succeeded. Now moving on to the third one. Okay, all three of the stages are completed. Now let's check the data set for the new table. Yes, I can see the table now. I click into it to load the data. This is how the data will looks like. Now moving to the task 6, review and run the data transformation pipeline. In this task, you will review the data transformation pipeline to learn how it works. You then run the pipeline to process the cloud storage files and output the result in the BigQuery. The data transformation pipeline also ingests the data from cloud storage into BigQuery table using a text I/O source and a BigQuery I/O destination. But with additional data, the transformation, specifically the pipeline, ingest the file from the cloud storage, convert the line reads to a dictionary object, and then transform the data which contain the year to format BigQuery understand as a date, output the rows to BigQuery. We will review the Python code for the data transformation pipeline. In this section, you will prompt Gemini code assist for additional information on the data transformation pipeline to assist the new member further. So go back to open the editor. Look for the data transformation py file. Okay, so now we will give this to the Gemini and then click send. So the explanation for the code in the data transformation py file will appear in the Gemini code assist chart. Now next, go back to the terminal here and then run the data transformation pipeline. Okay, so let's go back to the jobs. As you can see, the second job appear. Let's click this. And you can see 3 stages. So the first stage is running. This will take some time. I will pause and come back. Okay, I can see it's finished. So I click to look at the other details. For example, you can also change to job graph. You can change to table view, execution details, job metrics, any errors, and then CPU utilization, memory utilization, and the cost, and the recommendation. That's it. So now we will look at the BigQuery console. We will refresh these contents. So you will see a new table called USA name transform, and then look at the preview. Okay, so I can mark my task 6 as completed. Now we will go to the task 7, review and run the data enrichment pipeline. So back to this Cloud Shell, and then open the editor, which is already open. Now we will look at the data enrichment Python file. Right. So we will update the line 83. So we will paste, to update the code line, paste the following command here. Enter. So as Gemini is working on the code now. So when the prompted in the Gemini difference view, you will click on the accept. Oh, you just apply the changes. Yep, you can see it's already applied. Right, this is correct. Now we finish, we can save this file, just close it and go back to the terminal, close this, clear the screen, and we will run the data enrichment pipeline same as before, and you will see a third job coming out over here. Not yet. As you can see, the third job is already coming out. And then the job graph this time will be a little bit more steps here. I will pause and come back. And this time it looks like it's getting data from two different sources and finally join them together and write into the BigQuery. Okay, the job is done. Now we go back to the BigQuery and I will refresh the contents. There's a new table called USA name enrich is out. Let's take a look. So the difference is like there's a new column added here. Now in the task 8, which is the last one, review and run the data lake to the data mart pipeline. Now you build a data flow pipeline that reads data from two BigQuery data sources and then join the data sources. Specifically, you will ingest the file from two BigQuery sources, join the two data sources, filter out the header row in the file, convert the line read to dictionary object, output the row to the BigQuery. Now go back to your Cloud Shell data lake to mark Python file to understand the codes. Alright. Okay, this is how the code look like. You can also ask Gemini to explain if you want. Okay, so I will skip the Gemini this time and then go to the terminal and start running the pipeline. I pause and come back and refresh the job and you see the fourth job is running. Let me click into it. And you can see they're reading from two different sources and then finally join them together into one. Yes, I think it's completed and successfully. So let's refresh the contents here. Yes, you can see the new table called the orders denormalized site input, and this time I can see more columns. Right, with that we have finished the task 8 and congratulations, you have completed the lab. Now you can end the lab. Thank you.